We're here in Eastbourne. It's the UKIP party conference, day number 1. And one of our new speakers today is Neil Hamilton. Neil was a Member of Parliament for many years, a lifelong Conservative, and he and his wife Christine have just come back, I think, from the Edinburgh Fringe. So you've been back on the stage again this morning. Neil, a lifetime in the Tory party. Why UKIP?
Well, I'm in favour of UKIP because I want to restore parliamentary democracy to this country. 2/3 of our laws are not made in Parliament with our elected representatives deciding whether we have something on the statute book or not, but by bureaucrats and ministers in Brussels. So we have a parliament of eunuchs and I want to restore their balls to them.
Well, that's pretty straightforward, and I think very UKIP, and I'm welcome on board. You know, that's terrific. I was, clearly as somebody with a colourful past and a very well-known person, we all drag with us little bits of baggage from the past. And I was being interviewed today by the BBC, and they said something that I thought was wrong. And they said, well, of course, isn't Hamilton going to be a problem to you? Wasn't he convicted of something back in the 1990s? Can you just please set the record straight so that we understand what really happened?
Yeah. Well, I'm not Jonathan Aitken, I'm not Geoffrey Archer, I'm Neil Hamilton, and I have never been convicted of any criminal offence, and I've never been to prison. I was accused of taking cash for questions from Mohammed Fayed, the former owner of Harrods. I denied and deny those allegations, and I've been investigated by the Inland Revenue's top fraud-busting accountants in their Special Compliance Office in a 3-year investigation over 10 separate tax years, and I came out absolutely squeaky clean, not having had any illicit payments, so I didn't owe them any tax. And not only that, they looked over my expenses claims as an MP for 10 years, and every single one was regarded as legitimate. I don't think there are many of those still in the House who could claim that.
Neil, thank you for setting the record straight, and Neil has gone a step further. He's put his hat in the ring to stand for the national executive of this party, and he came out last week in the Sunday Express. Very brave thing to do, thank you. And he's told the world now that
I'm out and proud.
Very good, thank you.
With me now is Harry Aldridge. He's 25 years old, he's a member of UKIP, and most importantly, chairman of Young Independents, our youth wing. Harry, UKIP's image has always been a group of angry old men wanting to reclaim the empire, bomber command ties, lots of facial hair, disgusted at Tunbridge Wells, and 1 or 2 cartoonists over the years have portrayed UKIP to be like that. What on earth attracted a young person like you into joining a party with that image?
Well, I joined in 2004, so a few years ago now, and it's fair to say the party did have that image, and the first conference I went to was very stereotypical. However, I think the party has changed now. What I found then, and it's still true now, is a bunch of people who believe very deeply and passionately in democracy and core values of freedom and liberty, and those kind of transcend that. And that is what is drawing increasing numbers of young people to the party today, of all different age groups as well, which is the big difference that we're starting to see in the last few years. But
the European Union have tried very hard over decades to encourage, should we say, young people to like the European Union. Monet professorships in universities, and I know literature from the age of 8 upwards saying how wonderful the European Union is. I encountered this myself a couple of times on parents' evenings. Do young people, what is your view? Do young people think the EU is a good thing, a bad thing? Do they view it as irrelevant?
I think at best they're ambivalent. There are some people who think it's good because they see it as an international organisation. It's us doing our duty in the world, clubbing together with other countries. But those who do see past that, see a little bit more and read the papers and become aware of quite what it means and the impact it has. And when there are issues in the news, whether it's things such as votes for prisoners or whether it's regulation on employment and so on, it does start to affect them, and they become aware of it and they don't like it. Young people tend to be idealistic and believe in democracy and freedom, and that, I think, is a message that's drawing them.
Yeah, I think the democracy point is possibly very strong because one of the things, we haven't had a referendum on this question since way before you were born.
Indeed.
It's 1900 and frozen to death when your parents' generation said yes to staying part of a common market. But generally, if I look at the figures, something like 60% of the under-30s did not vote in the last general election. Does UKIP have anything to offer young people?
Absolutely, absolutely. People don't vote, young people don't vote, because they see all the parties, the main parties, as the same. They see no difference. It doesn't matter who they vote for, they'll get the same government. They don't see any point in voting because it doesn't change the outcome of anything. They voted Liberal Democrat in the last election, and look what happens.
Yeah.
You know, they get betrayed again. So they don't see any point. And I think what we offer is a genuine alternative. We are now established as the fourth party in this country, and we have young people joining us who are not defecting from other parties. For the first time, they're joining us, and they've made a choice that this is the party they want to belong to.
Because a lot of youngsters did vote for Clegg, didn't they? I mean, the Lib Dems have done very well with the young voter. Give us some idea of Nick Clegg's popularity amongst young people at the moment.
It's fair to say it's not high. I think it's, you know, there's a lot of angry feeling towards it. I don't think he'll be picking up those votes again next time.
No.
You know, young people feel very, very betrayed by it, and they want a party that will be able to deliver what it says.
But is there any evidence, I mean, we talk about the UK here, but thinking in a broader European context, is there any evidence across the rest of Europe that young people are turning towards parties such as UKIP?
Oh, absolutely. I've been in touch in the last couple of months with youth Eurosceptic organisations in Iceland and Norway, and there are some in Switzerland now that we're getting in touch with, who are looking to build a pan-European movement of young Eurosceptics and bring them together under one roof. So I think it is starting to spread. Obviously, we in UKIP here are kind of leading the way in this as the most prominent organisation leading it, and I hope we continue to do so.
So you're chairman of the Youth Wing. What are your plans for the Youth Wing from here?
Well, we're growing very rapidly. In the last couple of months, we've already increased our membership quite substantially. We are now seeing massive growth in the 14 to 16-year age group, as well as the sort of 20-year-old university age group. But what I want to see why I become is a campaigning organisation, helping the party on the streets, getting into the universities, pushing out a message on a full domestic front, not just the European issue, make us entirely relevant to people's lives as the fourth party in British politics, pushing the democracy and liberty angle, and saying that government is too big, it does too much, we need it out of our lives, we need to be left on to get on, run our lives, run our businesses, you know.
It's a libertarian message, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's what is missing. That's what's missing from the establishment parties today. And that is what we're attracting young members with.
Right. Well, there you are, you see. An active, thriving, growing youth wing in UKIP. And I very much hope that Harry and his colleagues will challenge my position before too long. And by the way, if you did serve in Bomber Command and you're a UKIP supporter, we're not insulting you in any way at all, but you too, I'm sure, are delighted to see we've got young, vibrant people getting involved with this party.
And finally, it's that time again, Mug of the Month. There is no competition whatsoever. We tonight have a charity auction, and people have put up prizes. They put up Wimbledon tickets and paintings and big boxes of chocolates and all sorts of things. And one of our members put up an antique lion skin to be auctioned to raise funds for the party. Lion Aid, a charity based in Kent, funded goodness knows by whom, have sent press releases out all over the country decrying UKIP for selling an antique lion skin. I presume they think we should strip out the Natural History Museum, we should strip out Darwin's collection of finches, I presume every stately home in Britain should have the antlers removed. They win. Mug of the Month. But please, keep your suggestions coming in. Show me idiocy. Show me stupidity. Send it to this email.